Joining me is Ukraine's ambassador to Australia, Vasyl Myroshnychenko. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time. Is there any sign that you can see that Vladimir Putin wants a ceasefire, let alone peace?
Oh, there is no indication whatsoever. Putin has not accepted a ceasefire. As you know, President Donald Trump offered the ceasefire back in early March. Ukrainian president accepted that, and Putin never agreed. And then later on, just more recently, European leaders, together with actually America, have asked and demanded an immediate ceasefire, unconditional ceasefire from Putin, and he didn't do it. He said, I want to negotiate directly, and this is where President Zelensky said, oh, let's do it together, and let's do it in Turkey. And President Zelensky goes to Turkey, and Putin is not showing up. Now, after that long conversation Putin had with President Trump, we don't really see any indication that Putin wants to end this war, that Putin actually wants to a ceasefire and to give diplomacy a chance. And what Putin is currently doing, Putin believes that time is on his side. He believes that the pressure is on America, the pressure is on Ukraine, the pressure is on Europe, but he feels he is got an upper hand and he is keeping going. If you look at the troops on the ground, if you look at the missiles and drones that he is sending on the daily basis, he feels like he's got an upper hand at the moment, and he will just pursue it.
I think he reckons that Trump is going to get bored, is going to have default angry with Ukraine and just go away, which would suit Putin brilliantly. Why doesn't Trump see what you see, what I see, what the European leaders see, what the world must see, that Putin is refusing to agree to a ceasefire? What, has Putin got something on him? What's your explanation?
Putin is pretending he wants peace. Putin is pretending he's negotiating. He's sending some of his minions to negotiations who have no power whatsoever, who are coming up with some ludicrous demands, which they have always had for Ukraine, basically asking for Ukraine's surrender. And this is the only talks that he is doing now. But look, we know how to deal with Russia, and I think the students of Russia know it as well. It's only when Russia is weakened, it's only when Russia is under enormous pressure, they will actually negotiate. And we can do it. We can do it jointly with America and Europe and Australia and other countries involved, because the way to do it is to actually provide more defense assistance to Ukraine, more sanctions on Russia, and further isolation of Russia. I mean, this is that pressure which has to be done jointly can actually force Russia into serious negotiations, and negotiations where we can have some tangible results. For the time being, it doesn't look like we're going to get there.
Look, it is also obvious. I know it's obvious. You say it, I know, I agree. What I don't get is why Trump doesn't see it. The American ambassador to Ukraine quit last month, and she's now explained why. Here she is.
I resigned from Ukraine and also from the Foreign Service because the policy since the beginning of the administration was to put pressure on the victim Ukraine rather than on the aggressor Russia. I fully agree that the war needs to end, but I believe that peace at any price is not peace at all. It's appeasement. And as we know from history, appeasement only leads to more war.
Ambassador Myroshnychenko, why is that happening? Why do you think Donald Trump still won't criticize Putin personally or hit Russia with more sanctions?
Unfortunately, I cannot really provide a comment or a genuine answer to this question. What I can tell you for sure is that if Russia can get away with what they're doing in Ukraine, it is really opening up a Pandora box. We've talked about it many times, but we've already seen how it is reverberating in different parts of the world, how other dictators are just watching how this war going to end, how they can benefit from the war, and they keep on benefiting. You know, there are many authoritarian leaders who are now benefiting by cooperating with Russia heavily, supplying Russia with weapons, sending their troops there, benefiting from the Russian defense technology, which they never had, and now they're going to have it. But apart from that, I mean, we get into this post-liberal world, kind of, in a way, where might is right, where liberal values no longer matter. That jungle kind of where dog eats dog and where no rules apply, because only a strong country, a country which is strong militarily in this particular case, can actually get what it wants. So in a way, rules don't matter anymore. Countries can change borders, and you can invade your neighbor if you have more weapons. And I think this is like one of those dangerous things, and especially on the side of defense and nuclear weapons and non-proliferation is dead at the moment, as we can see it, because so many other countries who never had nuclear weapons are also curious about nuclear weapons because they see what's happening. They're thinking, okay, look, if UN does not work, if rules don't work, what can we do? We need to actually spend more money on defense, buy more weapons, and actually get nuclear weapons because it's the only protection we can get.
We're back to 19th century statecraft, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, Vasyl Myroshnychenko. Really appreciate your time.